Also coming up, ad hoc parliamentary committee investigating a plot to remove the Inspector General of Police continues its probe as implicated officers appear before the committee. We'll bring you some more news, and in business, aggrieved customers of Men's Gold call for the arrest of the CEO of the defunct gold dealership Nana Appiah Mensah over what they describe as another attempt to swindle them. We'll bring you some international news as more than 70 people have been killed and more than 50 injured in a fire in central Johannesburg. Welcome to the program. My name is Noble Crosby, and this afternoon, the Financial Division of the Accra High Court has ordered the Office of the Special Prosecutor to return the seized assets of former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapaah to her and to release a freeze on the bank account after holding that the OSP could not prove reasonable grounds for corruption and legal basis for the actions. My colleague Lord Duasare has been in court. He's joining us for some updates on the happenings in court. Well, let's join Lord Duasare for some update on this development that has generated a lot of conversation since it began happening as the case was reported and investigations began ongoing. Lord, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us how the court arrived at this decision.
Well, Crosby, you'd recall that, this case that we have been following, the Office of the Special Prosecutor went to court investigating the former Sanitation Minister because, according to them, the seized assets were done to help investigations because they labeled them as tainted properties. Right. And so it was being investigated for corruption. Now, in court today, the judge, Justice Edward Chum, noted that and I must say that the OSP themselves had conceded that the monies that were found in the former Sanitation Minister's home, which was the $590,000 and the $2.7 million, after, you remember the raid that was done in her home after the monies, the $1 million and the 300,000 euros. Now, these monies were also found, and the OSP conceded that although they found these monies, they couldn't prove, or they were in doubt as to who actually owned the monies. Right. And so the judge noted that, if you, the OSP, doing the investigations, cannot validate who owns the monies, under what grounds are you saying that the monies in there could be tainted right. and even belong to Madame Cecilia Dapaah. So on that ground, that was one of the grounds, said that, okay, this was not a valid reason. Another thing was that the assets were frozen on July 24, and according to the Special Prosecutor Act, after such a seizure is made, an application should be made 7 days to confirm the freeze of account. Now,
or to extend the duration of the freeze of account.
Indeed, right. But in this case, the Special Prosecutor needed to confirm it before even, extend it. And so this, according to the court and indeed the respondent, which is the lawyers of Cecilia Dapaah, noted that the application, was done 14 days after the freeze of account. Right. Assets were frozen on July 24th, and then the application was filed somewhere on August 8th. And so this was wrong. Procedurally, this shouldn't have been done. And so the court noted that, per the act, you're supposed to file this within 7 days. You've done that in 14 days. And so this, outrightly, from that point, it dismissed it. Now, when it comes to the accounts, you remember that her bank accounts were also frozen. Right. 2 bank accounts. The court noted that the prosecution or the Special Prosecutor could not prove beyond reasonable doubts and legal basis that these accounts were involved in any money laundering, where the accounts was used for any money laundering or any
illegality whatsoever.
Indeed, or corrupt activity. And so on the basis of this, first of all, there was an order from the court that all the assets, indeed, which was the monies, the $590,000 and the 2.7 million should be returned to the former Sanitation Minister, and there should be a discharge of the accounts which had been frozen since the investigation started. Indeed, the courts criticized the Special Prosecutor, noting that they had done and they hadn't done a very good investigation because nothing on the record showed that they had concluded this investigation that they were on. Because the extension had been done because of a money laundering report that had been done.
Lord, I'd like for you to hold on for me and let's engage with private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu also for some reactions to this. When this news broke earlier, he was very vocal about the issues that could come out of this. Counsel, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. You have read or seen portions of the judgment. Your preliminary assessment of the process so far and the judgment.
Yeah, so I'm extremely surprised that the accounts weren't frozen because it's clear in Section 32 of the Act that the special prosecutor only return the asset if the suspect is not charged within 2 months. So the combined reading of this one and the confirmation order, the provision, is that it means that the account must be frozen for at least 2 months because the special prosecutor has 2 months within which to bring charges. So if he's not able to bring charges within 2 months, then that's when you order that they release the money and everything to the suspect. So I'm very surprised, and I'm sure special prosecutor will have to appeal this decision.
It brings me to my next question of what next for the Office of the Special Prosecutor, indeed, if they are not too satisfied with the ruling from the court.
Yeah, so they can appeal, and I'm sure they will appeal because, look, an amount of $5 million, that's the volume of transactions, and then 48 million Ghana cedis in there, also volume of transactions. It's not a joke. No, this is not something that a special prosecutor can afford not to appeal. He will definitely appeal. He will definitely appeal because, look, this is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It cannot, so I've been involved in cases where even for $60,000, it took a year before the court lifted the freezing order. Just common $60,000 for a private businessman. It took a year, about 14 months before the court finally released, because it was the same freezing of assets pending investigation. Yoko froze the client's account. It took a year and 2 months before the judge defroze, if I can say so, or froze the account. So I'm expecting the special prosecutor to appeal to the Court of Appeal. That's the way to go. Then we'll see.
Counsel, briefly before you take leave of us, for the judge who ruled on this matter and the judgment that you've seen or read, what could possibly be the reasons why legally she took this decision?
Well, that's $1 million question. Sometimes, let's just say that's the way he sees it. There are differences of opinion. In every society, we all can't have the same opinion. So he thinks that's the way he sees it. But I'm sure there will be other judges who will see that this money is too big. Even the $590,000, that's a lot of money, plus the 2.7 million, and then the original 1 million. And then you have the volume of transactions being $5 million in one account, and then another volume of transactions, 48 million Ghana cedis in another account. I mean, no. I'm sure the Court of Appeal would say, no, this is a case where they will freeze accounts.
Counsel, again, did the public interest and their participation in this case play any role whatsoever in the deliberations and the rulings that have come out?
Please say that again, with the public?
The interest of the public in the case since it began, from what you said, do you think they could have, participated or had a certain say in the ruling and the deliberations that happened in court today?
Well, if anything at all, it's rather positive because it shows that rather than the public being enablers and collaborators, majority of our people have shown that they don't support such colossal sums of money because they don't see where that money comes from.
Right.
So the public reaction has been positive, saying that no, they smell it, there's a rat. They think there's something wrong, so the OSP should go in. And so it's good that the OSP is gone in. Let's wait that time. That's why it's a democracy. Fortunately, there's a right to appeal.
Okay.
So once and even apart from appealing, the OSP can release and then re-seize again. Right. So there are 1,000 ways of killing a cat, but this is certainly not a case that will end in the High Court. No. This money is too huge.
Right. Counsel, thank you so much. Lawyer Martin Kpegbue is a private legal practitioner speaking with us. I still have with me Lord Duasare, who's a court correspondent here. Briefly, Lord, before you take it with us, was Cecilia Dapaah in court today?
Well, because we know that this has been a virtual hearing, but the first time when we were in court, she didn't join. But this time around, she, together with her lawyers, joined the hearing virtually. And when the ruling was done, you could sense or you could see this relief on her face. Right. But I mean, the law firm, they were ecstatic. They're happy about the ruling and everything. Thank you so much.
Lord Duasare is our court correspondent, bringing us updates. They're still with us here in a subsequent bulletins. We'll bring you details of the happenings in court today and the developments that could come afterwards. Away from that, President Kufuor has called on the newly inaugurated Emoluments Committee to focus on recent concerns raised by a section of the Ghanaian populace on whether or not Article 71 office holders are deserving of monies and benefits paid them. The president was addressing members of the committee at a swearing-in ceremony at the Jubilee House.
It may be worth our while to examine the practice of other jurisdictions, for example, the American one, where the principles are established and automatically adjusted according to certain objective criteria. This may well be an issue for further constitutional debate and decision. I must indicate that in recent times, a lot of public discourse surrounding the remuneration of public officers has centered primarily on those of Article 71 office holders, and whether or not, notwithstanding the constitutional imperatives, we are deserving of what is being paid to us in view of the challenges currently confronting our national economy. It might well be that your work should also focus on these concerns and make recommendations on how they should be addressed. The task ahead of you is a challenging one, and it is my expectation and hope that you'll be up to it and deliver your report expeditiously. You have my full support to undertake this assignment, and I assure you of government's assistance if needed throughout the period of your work. I wish you God's guidance and the best of luck.
Now, the chairman of the bipartisan parliamentary committee probing the lead IGP audio tape, Samuel Atachiah, has overruled objections from the lawyers of COP Alex George Mensah for two members of the committee to recuse themselves from the ongoing hearings. The lawyer for COP Mensah, Kweku Owusu-Agyeman, argued that the two members, Peter Tobu and James Elgalga, have made prejudicial comments before the committee makes a determination. This, he said, raises the likelihood of bias against his client, but the chairman ruled that the committee will proceed with its work after the two accused members denied making the said prejudicial comments. Here are excerpts from the ongoing hearings. We join Duke Opoku Mensah. He's been sitting with the team and he's joining us for some updates. Duke, thank you so much for joining us. Good afternoon to you. What more has been happening at the sitting today?
Thank you very much, Crosby. Yes, so as we speak, the audio, the full audio tape, the leaked audio tape is being played. There's a playback of it. It's been playing on and on and on for over 20 minutes now. The audio is over 30 minutes long. And this is before all the indications and debates, let me put it that way. There were submissions from the lawyers, as you rightly indicated, arguing that there had been a breach of natural justice, and that there's two of the members of the committee had made prejudicial comments before the committee began its work. And because of that, they would want them to recuse themselves from the hearings. Yes, and that it's in breach of natural justice. That is the fact that a man cannot be a judge in his own cause. And that these comments that they made for Tobu, Lieutenant Tobu, is quoted by the lawyers as saying on Ghana Web that the police officers who engaged in this plot were rot in hellfire. For James Elgalga, he is accused of indicating that what they had committed was a treasonable offense. For Superintendent Tobu, he denied flatly, indicating that he had never made any such comments, and he doesn't know where the Ghana Web report is coming from. For James Agauga, he said that indeed he made those comments on the floor of Parliament, but he qualified those comments. He qualified those comments by saying that if indeed the police officers had done that or they had plotted, then it means that what they've done is tantamount to treason. And he said he qualified the comments, and because of that, he is not at any fault. So it is based on these responses that the chairman ruled that indeed nothing wrong has gone on and that they should proceed to listen to the audio. But then the lawyers came back, bounced back and said that they still insist on their point and that they will tender in audio recordings of Superintendent retired Lanchini Tobu and James Agauga to the effect that they had made these comments which increase the likelihood of bias and is in breach of natural justice considerations. So basically that's what's been going on. We are still listening to the audio. After that, the interrogation of these 3 police officers who are lined up will proceed.
All right, Duke, before you take leave of us, talk to us about the posturing of the members of the committee at the moment, as well as the individuals appearing before the committee this afternoon.
Well, for the members of the committee, for those who were saying it, I mean, they were a bit confrontational with the lawyers. I mean, of course, they've been accused, so they would muster all the courage and all the bravado they can to reject these allegations that were made by the lawyers. As for the police officers, the accused police officers, they've been calm, they've been quiet, they have not had their day yet. They've not spoken so far. All the speaking is being done on their behalf by their advocates. So we are yet to hear them. Apart from the fact that they swore the oath to tell the truth before the committee, nothing has been heard of them. But from their body language, from their posturing, well, it says quite a lot. But we'll leave that to when we start hearing from them.
Right, Duke, thank you so much for joining us. Duke Mental Poku is a reporter who brought us those updates from the sit-ins in Parliament. We'll stay with us here on TV3 and we'll bring you more on the ad hoc parliamentary committee investigating the plot to remove the Inspector General of Police after the bulletin. But in the meantime, NPP flag bearer aspirant Boakye Agyarko has announced his decision not to participate in the runoff on Saturday to determine the 5th contender in the party's main flag bearer election on November 4. Agyarko contends that it is unconstitutional for the 135 members of the National Council to split the tie. Rather, the superdelegates who voted initially should be allowed to vote again. Now, the National Council, after a meeting on Wednesday, indicated that they will vote to split the tie on Saturday, and this, Agyarko maintains, is illegal. Well, Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante is a political science lecturer at the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana. Let's join him for some perspectives on this development. Doc, thank you so much for joining us on the program. You've heard from the National Council of the NPP, the resolution that was read by the General Secretary of the party and the response from one of the aspirants, Boakye Agyarko. From where you sit, where do you draw the line? What dynamics are we looking at here?
Yes, if you look at what the party came out with in terms of their decision, that is part of their constitutional provision, that the council has the power to break the tie. Yeah, if we go on that tangent, and given the fact that it is constitutionally provided for, then it's lawful. But where I find it strange is where, in terms of anybody who want to be, those in government who want to be part of, observer or supporting staff for the candidates, that it could be anybody, it can be from government and all that, and bringing that in midstream. This is where I find this extremely strange. because if you have set the ground rules, and yesterday I listened in one of the media stations, one of the officers saying that the council has the power to introduce something in the course of whatever process that is going on. I find it strange, and for me, it is not the best, because an important exercise like election, if you want to take any decision midstream, you are going to create chaos. All right, so I found it very, very strange that the council want to do that, and to what end? And I can't get it. What it tells me that the council appears to be having an unnecessary power, unlimited power, that it can, if it feels that something is not in its interest, it can change it at any time. That brings us to what? A question of whether the whole decision is taken with a view of what shortchanging anybody. Is it or is it not the case? That question remains unanswered for them. They have to explain to us. We don't work in a process like that, a process such as election, which brings a lot of heat onto the political system. Once you do that, you let somebody to feel that there is an agenda that you have set and you want to achieve. I would want to caution the MPP that much as they want to take certain decisions, they should be very careful and be guided by history. We saw what happened in 1979, that through some of these things, there was a breakaway, and that caused the defeat of the party in the 1979 election, where there was a UNC, United National Party, and then we had, PFP, Popular Front Party. Is it the path they are taking, and their action? I want them to be very careful about that, so that they don't revisit that period. That incident is still fresh on our minds, and the least they handle this thing with care, the better it will be for everybody. Otherwise, they will open the floodgates for problems that I'm not sure the party, through its toil and sweat, want to joke with.
Doc, picking up from what you said a few moments ago earlier, during the picking of the nomination forms and the submitting of the nomination forms, the aspirant in question, Boakye Agyarko, raised concerns over a lack of a level playing field in the entire contest, even before we got to the neck deep of it. Now, this is happening from the National Council. Does it further deepen the suspicions that the playing field has not been level and is, if you like, favoring particular candidates against others?
Yes, I'm sure what is playing out now lend credence to what Boakye Agyarko talked about. And I don't want to believe that that is the intention of the party, because then it will be so surprising to me that this is a party that has gone through thick and thin, and that they will allow parochial interests to destroy all the good things that they've done for themselves. Then, for me, it will be difficult to fathom. But I am fortified by the fact that they are well-meaning people. They will reason out of this and make sure that the path they are treading will not send them to the land of no return. I pray and I pray. But if they themselves want to embark on suicide mission, nobody can help them.
For the delegates who will be voting on November 4, what do they make of all the happenings concerning the Special Delegates Congress, the fallouts, and this decision that the National Council has taken briefly, sir?
Obviously, they are taking political notice of what is happening, and they will advise themselves through voting. Remember that some of these things form the basis for which people vote one way or the other. So that's why I'm telling them that they should be careful, because it has consequence on the upcoming election. Remember, the upcoming election is not going to be fought on the same grounds as it was where the delegates won, the super delegates won. This one around, you are going to encounter people who want to interrogate the issue and find out who has been given the mandate to govern the state, and that has he been able to manage the economy well, which is an important factor for voters' consideration when they are voting. Right. They want to also find out whether the government has been able to fight corruption head on. They want to also find out whether the government, has, replaced, competence with loyalty, and that competence doesn't matter. So they want to have somebody who is competent enough to be able to lead the country to the promised land. Of course, they want somebody who has the political will and the courage to say things as the way they are, because people have accused this government that it has lost its steam, its shine, and is not able to deal with recalcitrant officers of the government who are undermining the fortunes of the government. All these things are going to linger in the minds of voters, and I pray that MPP will be guided by these things so that they walk the talk and get to the logical conclusion of this election. It's crucial. They can't afford to shove it under the carpet.
Dr. Asante, thank you so much. Dr. Asa Asante is a political scientist there. Now, the Eastern Regional Security Council has condemned the Nsawam Adwajiri killings as it initiates full-scale investigations into the incident. The Security Council, in a press release issued on Thursday reacting to Tuesday's incident, said the Public Order Act was flouted. Fear has gripped residents of Adwajiri near Nsawam after 2 people were killed and several others injured in renewed chieftaincy dispute. Security has also been beefed up in the town to avert further clashes. According to eyewitnesses, the simmering chieftaincy dispute took a deadly turn as gun-wielding henchmen and members of the Watchman Land Protection Task Force allegedly stormed the community. The incident unfolded when the convoy of the recently installed chief by the Achimabwaka Traditional Council was being escorted through the township. Still on matters relating to security, contrary to the police account on Wednesday's violence in the Godenu community near Hohoe, the residents have expressed some skepticism. They argue that the police vehicle caught fire because the patrol team collided with a motorbike riding resident, not due to any form of retaliatory action. Additionally, the residents have contested the reports of 2 police officers losing their lives during the confrontations with the community members.
The Godenu community revealed a scene marked by the aftermath of a police raid that occurred following an alleged accident involving a motorbike rider. The impact of the police's presence was evident everywhere, even though their account of the incident did not mention these details. According to the residents, the police entered the community after their accident with the motorbike rider had already taken place outside the area. The police allegedly fired at the residents, resulting in the death of 3 individuals and leaving several others injured. Numerous motorbikes were reportedly set on fire and a significant amount of property damaged, including the destruction of vehicles, household appliances, shops, and even the chief's residence.
Togbe is aware, just that Togbe is not in town. And 2 of his vehicles were also smashed, which is also very unfortunate because if anything at all, the police come to town. It's Togbe who will host them. And I understand when they were even smashing the windscreen of the vehicle, someone tried to inform them that is Togbe's vehicle, but they say they don't care.
In an account given in the Ewe language, the wife of the chief of Bigodo, Doris Kojobra, recounted that she took cover in her home upon hearing the gunshots while the chaos continued. Another victim, a taxi driver, had his vehicle destroyed while he was visiting a friend from another community.
They have some celebration where they invited us. We came yesterday, where today to came before we did inside and we hear something they happened outside.
This situation has sparked fear and tension within the community, with some of the youth expressing a desire to arm themselves against potential future instances of police brutality.
Now, the Ghana Police Service on Wednesday filed an application at the court following the refusal of the minority in Parliament to change their route for their planned Occupy BOJ protest. The protest is scheduled to take place on September 5, 2023. The minority want to protest against the governor of the Bank of Ghana and his deputies, whom they believe have mismanaged the Apex Bank, hence must resign. Bernard Ahiafo is a lawyer and MP for Akachi South. Let's get to Bernard Ahiafo for some updates on this. Bernard, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. Good afternoon to you. Now, the police has gone to court to block your protest. Deputy Leader and Chief Whip have described the action as regrettable. Does this endanger the trust between the 2 sides?
Well, let me use the opportunity to say a good afternoon to TV3, the workers of TV3, Ghana for that matter, not forgetting the good people of Akachi South constituency. As a matter of fact, it is true that the police on Wednesday, 30th, 2023, filed an application in court to prohibit the upcoming demonstration to protest for the resignation of the governor of Bank of Ghana. In fact, following the minority press conference calling for the resignation of the governor of the Bank of Ghana, we, the minority, by a notice dated 21st day of August 2023, notified the police of our intention to protest for the resignation of the governor of Bank of Ghana. And the purpose of the protest is very clear, as stated in the notice and the reference. Mm-hmm. We are talking about illegal printing of money of about 80 billion between 2021 and 2022, leading to a hyperinflation about 54%, with the consequential hardship in the country. We are also talking about mismanagement and reckless mishandling of Bank of Ghana, leading to a loss of 60.8 billion.
Mr. Ayafor, you were a lawyer and a member of the minority who intended to embark on this journey. The latest coming from the police service. What next lines of action do you have in place going ahead with the protest in the face of an injunction from a court?
To lay the basis and conclude by stating that the police do not have any justification to go to court seeking for a prohibition of the minority using the intended routes. I must state that the application, if you read the affidavit in support, particularly from paragraph 15, is not seeking to prohibit the demonstration, but it is seeking to prohibit the use of the route, particularly from Makola section to a Bank of Ghana. That is what the application is seeking to do. I have looked at the application and have looked at the supporting affidavit.
Right.
And I'm inclined to say that the police do not have justification. Why am I saying this? There is no scintilla of affidavit evidence attached to the motion that will warrant the grant of this particular application to prohibit the use. Well, justice emanates from the people of Ghana. It is exercised on their behalf by the judiciary. On Monday, we shall all be in court to argue the prosecution, to argue the case with the police, and we are hoping for substantial justice. I look forward to having this particular application dismissed.
Mr. Ayafor, thank you so much.
However, be careful not to comment on the matter. South do this.
Right. Bernard Ayafor is a lawyer and member of parliament for the Akachi South constituency. This is Midday Live. My name is Noble Crosby, and we're going for a break. We're back with more stories. Stay with us.
We're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint. simply superior.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena me ankasa me period no say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me modam no mo he bibia na so mo meduro me fire no ene ma won kra me enu foforo kwa na mkwan mu a eba
and everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama no nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato.
Hello
hey ohwehwe what chair okay a free bra wo di end point what dance am me call you no me Joseph Sema na enkoyie en paso na my emre nyina na magina sebema na me no be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
Pick on an ideal guy.
I'm attracted to sapiosexuals.
Oh, sapiosexuals. Cool.
The smart guys.
See, I am one.
What's your take for the constitutional review?
See, they are really disturbing. They are worrying. Review. Constitutional review. The call for a constitutional review is not a bad call.
Really?
At all. Especially in the light of the fact that some laws have outlived their usefulness.
It was just gentlemen. I think Afena-Gyan.
Afena-Gyan? Who does he know Afena-Gyan? Excellent footballer. Dangerous. Tactical.
There's this show on TV. It's a music show. Mentor.
I like Mentor. See, my family watches Mentor. Everybody. Hey, see, everywhere, Mentor.
What edition?
Eh?
What edition?
Mentor's gonna take you higher.
Don't be clueless. Stay on top of issues with 3news.com and tune in to Media General's radio platforms on the go using 3news.com.
I'm a hero from zero up to hero.
Many with great voices have taken their chance on the biggest music reality show on screen.
Rap na kasa be my career.
Some stood out with their lyrical abilities and style. Mentor is back. The search is on. Who becomes the next winner? Mentor, the world awaits you.
The age-old rivalry that senior high schools engage in is still present within alumni. The battle for bragging rights to a particular endeavor remains even after school. If your school can cook, it means your school is here. If your school can boast of good culinary masterminds, this right here is the perfect platform to showcase that skill set. Alumni have met and they have chosen representatives to take up the task of preparing extraordinary dishes to bring victory to their respective schools.
Tell me what you're cooking.
Week in, week out, these schools will mount these workstations in a bid to buy your nutritional affinity to them. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare your taste buds and fasten your aprons. These culinary experts are set to battle for the enviable crown of being tagged Lords of the Kitchen. This is Kitchen Wars Season 2.
Kitchen Wars Season 2, Sundays at 5 p.m. on TV3. Don't miss it.
Sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix.
And Napa Foods. Say Napa. Enye ono soko.
PGL.
Are you a great FIFA player? Do you think you can beat anyone and be the very best in Ghana? The Warmer Plus Esports Festival is here to give you an experience. Join us at the forecourt of TV3. It will be a battle for supremacy in FIFA. Come around, let's smash it on the table tennis, football, and a snooker table. Kick about with family and friends. Music, food, and many more.
To run it through, Griezmann! Oh, it's there! And
and he has won FIFA World Cup.
So join us on this ride. It is the Warmer Plus Esports Festival, happening on 2nd September 2023. Powered by 3 Sports.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Business News is up next with Michael Obodu. Michael, good to see you.
Same here.
Apia Mensah is in the news again, and Men's Gold in the news. What's the latest on that?
Well, you know, there was this announcement for a $650 fee for validation. Now, the customers feel that that was another attempt to swindle them and they want him arrested.
I see. Anyways, bring us the details.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome to the business segment here on Midday Live. My name is Michael Obodu. Now, the aggrieved customers of Men's Gold are calling for the arrest of the CEO of the defunct gold dealership, Nana Apia Mensah, also known as NAM1, over what they describe as another attempt at swindling them. This comes after news circulated of a communique from Men's Gold asking its customers to pay 650 Ghana cedis as verification fees in order to retrieve their locked up monies. The group says it has since petitioned the Inspector General of Police to act on the issue.
It's related to the past couple of weeks activities by Men's Gold in respect of what he says, completion of validation and stuff like that, and his call or demand for us to pay some amount, that is 650 Ghana cedis, to purchase a supposed verification access card, which we resisted and said this is extortionary, and so we wouldn't allow. We think this is unfair that he still wants to collect money or demand money from customers. We have 2018 experience when he demanded 5% migration fee from customers, 2020 with Payboy when he demanded 9% for customers, and now he's demanding 650 Ghana cedis. We think this is unfair, and so the IGP should take care of him, or the security agencies should take care of him. Even though for the past 2 weeks, we haven't seen any action, we still call on them to take action.
Managing Director of Hollard Insurance Ghana, Daniel Boy Ado, has said that the introduction of innovations in the insurance space has helped to increase accessibility in the industry. However, he believes that insurance penetration in the country is still low and that a lot needs to be done to improve this. Ado made these remarks on the sidelines of the launch of Hollard Insurance Park in Accra.
I think that the industry is growing. I mean, if you compare where we are now to where we were 10 years ago, there's a significant difference. However, there's still a lot of distance to be cleared. Still, penetration is around 1%, and it's been so for the last few years. However, in the last few years, if you would note, there's been a lot of innovation in the insurance space, all aimed at solving the accessibility problem. I mean, hopefully in the future, everyone will have an insurance or access to an insurance product very close to wherever they want it.
The Institute of Chartered Accountants will soon sanction members in the public sector engaged in unethical practices by the Public Accounts Committee. According to its president, Senna Dake, the Institute's new act gives the professional body the mandate to discipline members engaged in corrupt activities. The Institute is bent on ensuring its members live up to the tenets of the profession. Senna Dake disclosed this to the media at the Institute's 60th anniversary celebration.
Public Accounts Committee is having a lot of audit reports with issues of control, deficiencies, which we need to have sanctions on. Now, the disciplinary committee supports ICA Ghana so that if any member or any non-member who works within the accountancy practice has to be sanctioned, we will use the disciplinary committee to do that.
The Ghana Stock Exchange is promising more exciting times going forward into the future. Securities worth over 700 million cedis had been traded on the Ghana fixed income market as of the end of last year. Over 90% were into government securities. Managing Director Abena Amwa reiterates that the exchange will diversify its portfolio to grow the market.
In terms of volumes and values traded on the fixed income market, as at the end of last year, cumulatively, securities worth over 700 billion Ghana cedis have been traded on the market. Over 90% of this has been in government securities. And so for us, as we develop our capital markets and implement our own strategic plans, one of the key areas we are looking at is diversification, new products and new services. And I want to highlight a few of them. The market is working very hard together to launch and operationalize a commercial paper market. A commercial paper essentially will enable companies like Letsero to raise short-term capital that is under 1 year capital. And through these CPs, it will also allow banks to issue NCDs as well. And this creates another investment angle for investors. We also want to flag the corporate notes and the corporate bond market. Currently, so far we've had about 13 corporates tap into our fixed income market. We want to grow this number significantly. We want to attract over 50 corporates to utilize our fixed income market and have an additional source of debt capital aside their traditional banking operations.
Well, that will be all for the business segment here on Midday Live. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. My name is Michael Obodu. Thank you for watching. As always, please stay safe. Up next is sports.
When the sun rises, there is hope. While this hope lingers on, the citizens look up to the government, the economy, the national development agenda, and everything in between.
On Ghana Tonight, it's our utmost priority to bring you insightful conversations on the economy, break down the biggest issues while setting the agenda for transformation and national development. The big and important stories are treated from the human interest angle, while the facts and the figures are painted with precision. So now, let's cut the convention and start the conversation here on Ghana Tonight. I am your host, Alfred Okamsi.
Ghana Tonight shows Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
All sporting disciplines matter on Warm-Up Plus.
Warm-Up Plus, the most exciting hour on TV. So join the conversation and get updated.
Get sports news, visit exciting places, and be in the know on Warm-Up Plus. Let's go, Diana.
We're just getting started.
We're just getting warmed up.
Catch me, Yao Ufusulabi.
And me, Aniela Alote.
Warm-Up Plus, new season coming soon on TV3.
I'm a hero from zero up to hero.
Many with great voices have taken their chance on the biggest music reality show on screen.
Rap na kasa be my career.
Some stood out with their lyrical abilities and style. Mentor is back. The search is on. Who becomes the next winner? Mentor, the world awaits you.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Sports News is up next. Ruru Kwampofo will bring us all the latest. Over to you, Riku.
Well, thank you very much, Crosby. We head straight into the transfer market, where Leicester City have announced the signing of Ghanaian Fatawu Issahaku on a season-long loan from Sporting Lisbon, subject to league and international clearance. The player says that he's excited and this is the right step for his development.
Amazing moment for me, and I think I'm happy to be here. For me, from and how I talked with the coach, I think here was the best for me. I chose Leicester because I think they can grow me well, and I get more mature than, yeah.
Well, that was Fatawu Issahaku with his new team, Leicester City. But to some more transfers, where Belgian striker Romelu Lukaku has agreed to join Italian side AS Roma on a season-long loan deal from Chelsea. The 30-year-old returns to Serie A, having spent last season on loan with Inter Milan, helping them reach the Champions League final. He is reported to have turned down a lucrative move to the Saudi Pro League. Lukaku is believed to have accepted a wage cut to be reunited with former coach Jose Mourinho at Roma. Mourinho briefly managed Lukaku in 2013-2014 during the striker's first spell at Chelsea before the Portuguese signed him for Manchester United from Everton in 2017 for £75 million. To the Champions League now, which is almost upon us for the new season. That's the 2023-2024 edition. As treble winners Manchester City try to retain their crown as kings of Europe for the final time before the competition takes a new format next season. 32 teams will be split into 8 groups of 4. Each group will contain 1 team from each of the 4 seeded pots, and clubs from the same national league will not be drawn together in the same group. Pot 1 comprises the reigning competition champions Manchester City, the Europa League winners Sevilla, and the league winners of the top 6 leagues based on UEFA country coefficients. The remaining pots are populated according to their respective club coefficients. Now, 1 team from each pot will form a group, and no team from the same country can draw one another in the group. All 4 teams would be from different countries. The draw takes place tonight at 4 p.m. at Monaco, and the UEFA Men's and Women's Player of the Year awards would also be announced. And there's a lot more to look forward to with regards to the Champions League, which would be kicking off from September 19 to mid-December for the group stages. Let's do some more here, and the record attendance for a women's sporting event has been broken at the United States College. A crowd of 92,003 fans watched Nebraska beat Omaha at their Memorial Stadium, eclipsing the 91,648 who saw Barcelona play Wolfsburg in the 2022 Women's Champions League match at the Nou Camp. The former record for a women's sporting event in the U.S. Was 90,185 who were at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California to watch the U.S. beat China in the final of the 1999 Women's World Cup. Well, that's how we'll be wrapping up the sports segment here on Midday Live. My name is Ruru Kwampofo, and as the transfer deadline inches ever closer, you can get updates on our social media handles at 3SportsGH. Up next on the bulletin is Entertainment with Noella.
Welcome back to the program. Let's join Noella Donko for some entertainment news. Over to you, Noella.
All right, thank you so much. Let's get into some details of entertainment here on Midday Live. My name is Noella Donko. Now, the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts has declared September as a month of tourism. The move is to build interest of domestic tourism with the conversation of the country's historical and environmental heritage.
The Ghana Tourism Authority, under the auspices of the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, has rolled out a number of festivals and activities throughout the month of September. As part of efforts to highlight the importance of the sector, the authority has declared September a month of tourism. According to the Deputy Chief Executive of the GTA, Eko Samson, this is to educate the indigenes and build the interest in domestic tourism.
And it is geared towards encouraging the patronage of prominent festivals, events, tourist sites and attractions in the country, as well as the critical role domestic tourism plays in growing an inclusive and sustainable tourism economy. The month falls on a period where there are significant festivals and events, which includes the Corporate Paragliding and Yankokwe event and the World Tourism Day, celebrated by the United Nations World Tourism Organization. Experience Ghana, Share Ghana, See Ghana, Eat Ghana, Wear Ghana, and Field Ghana agenda, coupled with the December in GH events and activities as part of the Beyond the Return initiatives, are indications of the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture and GTA readiness to promote Destination Ghana as the center of the world.
Akwesi Ajiman is the CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority.
We believe strongly that domestic tourism is the way to go. And over the few years that we've embarked on this tourism month, we've seen significant growth. For example, in 2018, the total number of people who traveled around Ghana was 635,000. Fast forward to 2022, this rose to 937,000. It's because of all these campaigns that we are running. So everything is geared towards making sure that people understand that when you travel, when you go to another destination in Ghana, you are contributing your quota to the development of the country.
Akwaaba, to the center.
Well, do join 3 Entertainment this evening at 6 p.m. for our weekly entertainment spaces, where we'll be having an exclusive with AMG Medical and will be hosted by Cookie T. Also, we'll be having a conversation about music reviews, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now to some more stories. Gospel singer Bernard Amankwa has launched the 16th edition of his annual gospel concert, celebration of his Grace annual concert.
Praise God. God, the Bible says that God inhabits the praises of his people. And when we offer praises to God, his glory will come down and deliver his people. It doesn't matter the challenges that you are facing. As you walk to the National Theatre, we believe that every chains that has kept you bound, God is going to break those chains and you'll be set free. This year, the theme is My Offering. So this is our offering that we are giving to God and to you. So come join us and let's celebrate together. Let's have a Holy Ghost party.
Ghanaian singer Iona Rain was appreciative of the opportunity to share her gift at the concert and promised to give off her best.
We know how sometimes people look at you some way because of where you come from, but I thank God that he's a man of God, he's a man of the spirit, and so he sees far beyond the outside and things people see, but sees into the spirit and know that actually God has called me into the fold. And so I would like to thank Pastor Bernard for the opportunity.
Don't forget to make a date with us at 6 p.m. tonight on our X handle, that's 3EntertainGH. Just make sure you join the conversation and share your thoughts with us. And that's it for entertainment news here on Midday Live. My name is Noella Donko. International news is up next.
And more than 70 people have died and more than 50 have been injured after a fire in central Johannesburg. The building is being described as a hijacked building, meaning it is used by squatters. Authorities say it is unclear what sparked the blaze at the 5-story building. Well, that's our package for you this afternoon, but there's always more news on our website, 3news.com, if you log in for more. My name is Noble Crosby, and we have the entire production team. Thank you so much for watching the bulletin. We'll see you again some other time. Good afternoon to you. Bye-bye.